First day of Arc Raiders is finally here, and I know you guys are excited to jump in. I know I am. And I figured this will be the most relevant video to kick things off with, because this one's all about loot. And if you played even a little, you already know that's what this game evolves around. The better your loot, the more likely you are to survive any encounter, whether it's PvE or PvP. So the purpose of this video is simple, to help you understand what exactly gives you the best loot, what to look for, and how to recognize it when you see it. Because I know you've seen them little bags sitting around here and there, some weapon boxes. We're going to get all into it. And from my experience playing Arc Raiders with all of the unpredictability, there's one thing that's almost always consistent. When you see a bag like this, or this battery that you have to deliver elsewhere that drops extra loot, it's always worth your time. These loot boxes and bags are rare, hidden, and valuable. And if you do come across one, it should be your first priority before anything else, because it's going to set you up. I'm telling you, most of the time it has goodies. Rarely it doesn't. Now, the first loot bag on the list is this cream colored bag with a green insignia on it. It kind of reminds me of the art from the finals. I guess since both games come from the same studio, they wanted to include a subtle nod to it within Arc Raiders world building and environmental storytelling, which is cool. But when you come across these bags, from my experience, they often drop blueprints, and that's huge. Blueprints can appear in specific areas of the map like bunkers or weapon storage sites, but these bags have a much higher chance to give you a direct blueprint. I mean, I've experienced it personally. I pulled a 𝐒𝐻𝐴 blueprint from one of these. It's a beautiful LMG and absolutely broken in PvP. Not so effective against arc enemies due to its bullet spread and inconsistency with the accuracy and whatnot, but if you manage to get your hands on one of these and catch a raider in your sights, it's curtains for them. Now, to really show you why these bags matter, look at this scene as I'm speaking to you. I was in the middle of a 1v1 battle against another raider. He had way more than I did, a shotgun, a pharaoh, probably had a crazy shield. I came in with a free loadout, mind you. But mid-fight, I decided to go and loot one of these bags anyway. It was worth it. And it paid off. I got the 𝐒𝐻𝐴 blueprint, tossed it straight into my safe pocket, and he ended up killing me eventually. But that brings me to my next hidden item. Well, not really hidden, kind of hidden in plain sight. When you look at it, you don't really know what it is, right? It's a rectangular shaped battery you can find on the ground. You pick it up and place it into a nearby generator. Once you deposit, it unlocks a device that gives you even more loot, like ammo, weapons, and trust me, it's all worth doing. Now picture this, both of these rare loot items were in the same area, pretty much in the same vicinity, and in the middle of that fight, I went for both. Sounds crazy, right? But I almost pulled it off. And what these batteries give you after depositing them into the generators usually rewards you with ammo, like I said, the type you're always gonna need, but almost every time. Along with that ammo, you'll get at least 2 weapons. It could be an arpeggio, a shotgun. It's really up to RNG, honestly. And it's always worth checking out, but there is a catch. When you pick this thing up, it's pretty heavy and it slows your movement immediately. You can still sprint a little, but it feels more like jogging. And sometimes that generator is a lot further than it looks. In those cases, it might not be worth the risk. It really depends on your situation. Like if you spawn in an area like this with a deposit point only 50 to 100 feet away, then yeah, it's definitely worth it. Okay, the next item on the list is this weapon box. And you can tell exactly what it is just from the shape of it alone. Long, slim, rectangular with that dark green or metallic color. In most games, this shape screams weapons. I mean, you immediately recognize it. I know I did. And Arc Raiders keeps that tradition alive. Once you open it up, you're guaranteed to get a weapon. And this right here is really rewarding because not only are you getting the weapon, most of the time you'll find ammo boxes or a few of those loot boxes I mentioned earlier right next to it. So if you come across the weapon box, there's a good chance you hit the jackpot. But the weapon boxes are always in the high risk red zones where the loot quality is high but danger is even higher. You'll be surrounded by tough arc enemies or raiders just lying in wait. I mean, that never stopped me. This dark metallic case looking one with a yellow insignia on it, this one almost always has ammo. It seems like an ammo box, mainly because it's one of those that's always sitting right next to the weapon box, usually bundled in those high risk zones, but you can sometimes find it in a less dangerous area like the yellow zones as well. I actually came across one there on a desk when looting, and right after that found a legendary attachment for my kettle. You know, it really feels like boxes like these give off a certain aura, like the loot around them just knows something's good nearby. Lucky charms, honestly. And here's another bag that looks kind of like a golf club bag, long and cylinder shaped. I've only seen this one in the gun range where you can test weapons on dummy arcs. Inside, I doubt that's what it normally contains when you find it out in Rust Belt, but that was my first experience with it. If any of you found one of these cylinder shaped loot boxes out in the world, let me know down in the comments what you found inside. I'm genuinely curious to what it consists of, to see if it's consistent or they switch up the loot depending on the zone. Now, as far as where you can actually find these loot boxes and bags, unfortunately they're mostly random, but some of them do spawn consistently in certain locations, like the domes, specifically the high risk zone in the swamps of the dam map. If you head into the middle dome, or maybe was one of the side domes, I honestly can't remember exactly where, but if you go towards the centermost one, probably in the back section, you'll find an area that usually has the weapon box along with a few other loot bags. And this spot has been consistent for me almost every time I've looted it, either completely unlooted, so it's free for you, or it turned into a full-on firefight with someone else trying to grab it first. High risk zones like these are definitely where you want to focus your farming runs. As far as the bag with the green insignia, I found that electrical relay station. It was sitting on the ground between the walls, but that might have been a rare spawn because it's the only time I've seen it appear there. What is consistent though in those relay stations are the rectangular batteries that you can insert into the generators. Once activated, they unlock a reward with loot. Now keep in mind, most of this information is based on the dam map, which I'm sure a lot of you became familiar with during the server slam, since that was the only map available at the time. That's why I wanted to provide some of the most reliable information out right now, because it reflects the most recent and accurate versions of the game. I know people were able to play the game in its entirety. The embargo was lifted like yesterday, and all these content creators were showing their footage. So much was played of the full game, but this is my experience. So using what I've learned here on the dam map, how these loot boxes and bags look, where they tend to spawn, and what type of loot they drop, we can start identifying similar areas across other maps now that the full game is live. I'll be updating you guys on that in future videos as more locations open up. In the meantime, if you've seen areas where these loot bags or boxes show up frequently, chime in down below in the comment section and let me know what you found. But other than that, that'll do it for this video. I appreciate you listening and watching all the way to the end. Oh, and if you want to see an ultimate starter guide to get familiar with everything arcraiders has to offer, check this video out right here. I'll see you in the next one. Be right out.